Two British adventurers are halfway through an amazing round-the-world fundraising odyssey. Their vehicle of choice, unusual one.
Both graduates of Oxford University, Tim Nicholas and Joanne Bowlt, thought this 1954 Morris Oxford would be ideal for their global journey from Oxford in Britain to Oxford, New Zealand.
And there are actually lots of good practical reasons why that was a reasonably sensible decision, but it was pretty wacky as well.
In 7 months on the road, the old Morris, nicknamed Florence, has been remarkably reliable. In India, where they still make this car, they were mobbed everywhere they went.
They were fantastic. They were really interested and intrigued and were really keen to hear what we were up to.
They drove mostly during the day on the subcontinent.
During the day it's bad enough, but at night it's the dangers are just multiplied, and buses that drive on the wrong side of the road at you, and lots of vehicles and animals that don't have lights on.
The couple not fazed by the Oxford's primitive mechanicals, which made repairs easy. There's no air conditioning, no power steering or power brakes, and it still has the original trafficators from the 50s. So far, Tim and Joanne have raised about $9,000 for the British and Australian Red Cross. Their target, around $15,000.
Thank you.
There's a website detailing their travels and how to donate money. They'll spend another month in Australia travelling the East Coast before heading to New Zealand. Peter Sellon, 10 News.
Two Londoners have travelled thousands of kilometres in a Morris Oxford to get to Mount Gambier this week, all in the name of raising funds for the Red Cross. It's been a 7.5-month journey so far, the team raising $10,000 throughout the trip, which is set to end at Oxford in New Zealand.
It's been a long trip for this 1954 Morris Oxford named Florence and its drivers Tim Nicholson and Joanne Bowlt from London, travelling 14,500 miles to stop off in Mount Gambier this week. The pair quit their jobs and left Oxford in England on the 5th of May this year to raise money on the mammoth trip across 7 seas for the Red Cross.
We left our jobs working in London. We joined the British Red Cross as volunteers. We're fundraising for them through our website, and we're also now Australian Red Cross volunteers, so we're fundraising for the Australian Red Cross and similarly through for the New Zealand Red Cross.
To show appreciation of their efforts, Mount Gambier Red Cross Transport Coordinator Louise Waters was out helping scrub the car clean. The dedicated volunteers impressed with the level of hospitality and support shown by Mount Gambier people.
We only arrived yesterday afternoon. There was a guy that we met up with, and we went to Flanagan's. They were terribly hospitable, and we had a meal and drinks, and they even donated a cheque to the Red Cross, so they've been fabulous.
The car will head for the Great Ocean Road soon.
From here we're going to drive across Great Ocean Road, go through Melbourne, Sydney, cross over to New Zealand, and we think we'll reach our destination, Oxford, New Zealand, about 10 months after we left home.
Their journey is detailed on their website, including a diary of events where people can donate to the cause using their credit card.
An English couple driving from Oxford, England to Oxford in New Zealand have taken a slight detour, ending up at Yalumba's Oxford Landing Vineyard in Waikerie today. Tim Nicholson and Joe Bowlt decided to take a break on their around-the-world tour to enjoy some South Australian wines.
Mr Nicholson and Miss Bowlt have been on the road since May and have covered 22,400 kilometres, driving through 10 countries across 5 continents, and have made 7 sea crossings in their 1954 Morris Oxford. In the 6 weeks from the moment they decided to begin their adventure, they quit their professional jobs, mapped out an itinerary, bought their car and headed off to France. The reasons for the trip are twofold.
Well, yeah, lots of people ask that, and some people think we're a bit mad. There are 2 reasons, really. One is we're having the adventure of a lifetime, driving across the world from Oxford in England to Oxford in New Zealand. We're just having an amazing adventure. But also, we wanted to do something worthwhile, and we decided to fundraise for the Red Cross.
The couple met while studying in Oxford, but have spent 10 years apart before getting back together. The relationship seems to be surviving the test of time and travel.
I think we're still getting on all right, actually. I mean, it's pretty challenging, I must say, yeah, being in a car for 7 months, all that time.
Travelling through France, Spain, Northern Africa, India, Singapore, as well as a nullarbor plane, has presented tricky driving conditions.
Some of them have been pretty challenging for various reasons. Language, security, distances. I mean, we've been dodging camels in North Africa, cows in India, and kangaroos, of course, in Australia. So we have all sorts of different obstacles to cope with.
Also, the contrasting fuel prices across the world haven't been lost on the intrepid travellers.
In North Africa, it was fantastic. Petrol was so cheap, they were almost giving it away. But sadly, it's a bit more expensive here, but still cheaper than the UK.